ever feel like you're living in a sci-fi movie? I mean, we're surrounded by tech that seemed like it was straight up impossible just a decade ago. And right at the front of it all is AI, artificial intelligence. And you're listening because you want to know, like, how deep does this rabbit hole actually go? Could AI really take the wheel from us someday?
It's a question that, well, it captures the imagination, right?
It totally does.
This whole idea of machines that can not only, think, but actually outthink us.
Okay, so no robot uprisings right around the corner.
Not quite yet. What we mostly see right now is what we call narrow AI. Think of it like a specialist.
Okay, I'm with you.
These systems are already crazy impressive, though. They use things like machine learning to analyze these massive, huge amounts of data and pick out patterns, things we humans would probably totally miss.
So like how my music app seems to know what I want to listen to before I do.
Exactly. Or how some platforms can write marketing stuff that sounds, well, eerily human. Or even how self-driving cars are able to navigate traffic.
Okay, that's seriously cool, but how does that make the jump to, like, AI running the whole show, calling the shots?
And that jump is where it gets really mind-blowing. We call this hypothetical future state artificial general intelligence, or AGI for short.
AGI, got it.
So picture this, an AI that doesn't just kill it at one specific task, but can actually reason across any field, adapt, and even come up with new ideas just like humans do.
So basically, it's still the stuff of science fiction.
It kind of is. Most experts agree that AGI, if it's even possible, is still a long, long way off.
Okay, phew. That's a little reassuring, at least for now.
Yeah.
But just say, hypothetically speaking, we do crack the code to AGI. What could that world actually look like?
It'd be unlike anything humans have ever achieved before, that's for sure.
No kidding.
And that potential is exactly why this conversation is so important. Imagine a world where AI helps us, unlock the secrets of the human brain, leading to cures for diseases like Alzheimer's.
Yep.
Or what if it could analyze global economic trends with perfect accuracy so we could finally lift communities out of poverty?
I mean, that's almost too much to even think about. We could be talking about actually solving some of the biggest problems humanity has ever faced, just like that.
Exactly. But those amazing possibilities, well, they come with their own set of challenges. What happens to jobs when AI can automate tasks in every single industry? And how do we make sure this AI power is used ethically and responsibly, for good and not for bad?
So not all sunshine and rainbows then.
Right.
This is where a lot of people start imagining those worst case scenarios.
Well, yeah, it's natural to be concerned. But instead of just being afraid of the unknown, let's approach this with, a sense of informed curiosity. Let's break down some of these really complex issues, maybe starting with what everyone's thinking about, jobs. It's true that some jobs as we know them will probably be automated.
I mean, that's a real concern for a lot of people. But I've also heard that AI could create a whole bunch of new jobs that we can't even imagine yet. Is that just like wishful thinking?
Not necessarily. Look at the internet, right? Back in the early days, no one could have predicted all the jobs that would pop up. Web developers, social media, anything, app designers.
It's true.
It's totally possible that the rise of AI will create a demand for completely new skills and jobs we haven't even thought of.
So instead of picturing robots taking everyone's jobs, it's more about learning to adapt and evolve along with the technology.
Exactly. And adapting isn't just about learning to code or whatever. It's about getting better at critical thinking, being more creative, becoming amazing problem solvers. These are the skills that will be even more important in an AI-powered world.
Because AI can't do that.
Well, think about it. AI is incredible at analyzing data and recognizing patterns, but it's not so great at coming up with completely new ideas, solving complex ethical dilemmas, or dealing with the, messiness of human interaction. Those are things we excel at.
So instead of fearing the robot takeover, we should be working on those uniquely human skills, right?
Exactly. We need to get ready for a future where we're working alongside AI, using its strengths to, boost our own abilities. And that doesn't just apply to work. It applies to how we approach literally everything. Education, government, even just how we interact with each other.
It's a total shift in perspective, and it's easy to feel a little overwhelmed. But what I'm hearing is we're not just helpless bystanders here. We have choices. We can make a difference. We have a real role in shaping this future.
You got it. And it starts with staying informed, questioning what we think we know, and talking about the implications of AI with everyone.
Not just keeping it in our own little bubbles.
Exactly. We have to be aware of all the good AI can do, but we also can't forget the challenges and potential problems.
So true. Okay, we've talked about how AI could change our individual lives and the entire global workforce, but what about AI shaping society on an even bigger scale?
Like what?
I'm talking government, decision making, even like the very way we all live together. Big stuff.
You're right. That is a really important area to think about, and it brings up so many questions.
Right. Like, can AI really be unbiased enough to make decisions that impact entire populations? How can we be sure these AI-powered systems are ethical and fair?
Those are tough ones.
It's not just about AI helping us, find a good song on Spotify or get a better medical diagnosis anymore. We're talking about AI potentially having a say in how our cities are run, how laws are written, how resources are shared.
Yeah, it's a lot to get your head around.
It really is. And it's a conversation that needs to happen now. We can't just assume AI will always do what's best for us, for humanity as a whole. We need to be involved in how it develops, make sure it supports the things we value.
Absolutely. And it boils down to control, doesn't it? Who gets to decide how AI is used, how it changes and grows, and ultimately how it shapes our world?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is, and it's not a question with an easy answer. We need to figure this out together, not just as individuals, but as a society. It's about making sure that AI empowers us, lifts us up, instead of becoming something that limits or controls us.
And that is something to think about. But we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back to talk about some practical steps you can take to navigate this AI-powered world and make your voice heard. So we're back and ready to keep going. When we left off, we were talking about AI shaping society on a huge scale, government, how decisions are made, that kind of thing.
Right, and, all the challenges that come with that.
Exactly. Like, can AI be trusted to be unbiased when it's making choices that affect entire countries or even, like, the whole world? How can we make sure these AI systems are ethical, fair, all that?
Big, big question.
It's not just about AI, like, recommending products or even giving us medical diagnoses anymore.
The stakes are way higher than that now.
We're talking about AI potentially having a say in running our cities, writing laws, even deciding how resources are distributed. It's a lot to wrap your head around.
It really is. And honestly, it's a conversation that needs to be happening right now. We can't just assume AI will always do its best for humanity,
Right.
We need to be actively shaping how it develops, making sure it's aligned with our values and priorities.
It's about control, isn't it? Who gets to decide how this incredibly powerful technology is used, how it changes and grows, how it shapes the world?
You hit the nail on the head. That's the million-dollar question, and there's no easy answer.
Yeah.
We need to work this out together as a global community. It's about making sure AI empowers us, lifts us up, instead of becoming something that limits us or, even worse, controls us.
Okay, that's a lot to think about. But before we jump into that, maybe let's shift gears for a second. We were talking earlier about how AI could totally revolutionize healthcare.
Right. It has so much potential there.
It's both exciting and a little unnerving, right? Like, imagine AI analyzing medical scans with incredible precision, catching tiny tumors or infections that human doctors might miss.
Absolutely. Or picture AI creating personalized treatment plans based on your unique DNA, making medicine more effective than ever before.
That's incredible. We could be talking about, like, eradicating diseases that have affected people for centuries.
It's mind-blowing, right?
Yeah.
But, and this is a big but, we can't forget about the human element here.
What do you mean?
Well, what happens when AI makes a diagnosis and the doctor has to choose between following the machine's recommendation or trusting their own gut instinct?
Oh, I see what you're saying. It's not about replacing doctors with robots. It's about giving doctors these amazing AI tools to help them make the best decisions.
Exactly. It's about enhancing human capabilities, not replacing them. Imagine a doctor using AI to instantly analyze decades of research studies, finding the absolute best treatment options for their patient, giving them the best possible chance at a longer, healthier life.
Okay, that's a much better picture. But still, there are a lot of ethical and practical questions there.
Or a ton. And that's what makes this whole conversation so fascinating. We're not just talking about medical breakthroughs. We're talking about how we integrate this powerful technology into something as human as healthcare, making sure it's used ethically, responsibly, and fairly for everyone.
Right, because access for everyone is a whole other issue, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But maybe we can circle back to that later. For now, let's shift gears again. We talked about healthcare, but what about everyday jobs. We touched on this a bit earlier, but it's something a lot of people are really worried about.
Yeah, it's a big one. I mean, we're already seeing automation in factories and even in customer service, and AI is only going to get more advanced, right?
Definitely. It's not even a question of if AI will change the job market, but how.
So are we all going to be out of work, replaced by robots? Like, is that the future we're looking at?
Not necessarily. I mean, look back at history. New technologies often lead to new types of jobs, even as they replace old ones.
You're talking like the internet again, right?
Exactly. The internet completely changed how we work, and yeah, some jobs disappeared, but a ton of new ones were created too. Think about it, web developers, social media managers, YouTubers, podcasters. None of those jobs existed before the internet.
Okay, so maybe we need to be thinking about AI the same way as an opportunity for new industries and jobs to emerge.
Exactly. And it's not even just about specific jobs. It's about the skills we need to thrive in a world where AI is everywhere.
So what, we all need to become computer programmers?
Not at all. It's about things like creativity, critical thinking, complex problem solving, those uniquely human skills that AI, at least for now, can't replicate. Think about it. AI is amazing at analyzing data and spotting patterns, but it's not so good at coming up with innovative ideas, tackling those really complex ethical problems, or navigating the, well, let's just say it, the messiness of human relationships. Those are the things we're good at.
So instead of fearing AI, we should be focusing on developing the skills that make us human, the things that make us uniquely valuable in a world where AI can do so much of the heavy lifting.
You got it. It's about preparing for a future where we work alongside AI, not in competition with it. We use its strengths to enhance our own, to do things we couldn't even imagine before. And honestly, this goes way beyond just the workforce.
What do you mean?
This is about how we approach everything, education, government, how we interact with each other every single day. It's about a fundamental shift in how we think and operate in the world.
It's like AI isn't just a tool, it's changing the entire game.
Right. It's challenging us to evolve, to adapt, to redefine what it means to be human in an age of intelligent machines.
Okay, so we've covered a ton of ground here, from how AI could completely change healthcare to what it could mean for our jobs and even how it might reshape the way our entire society works. It's a lot.
It really is. But the biggest takeaway here is that we're not just sitting on the sidelines. We have choices to make, we have a voice in this, and we have a real part to play in how this technology actually develops.
So less worrying about the robot apocalypse and more like rolling up our sleeves and getting involved.
Exactly. And that starts with, well, staying informed. And I don't mean getting lost in a sea of like clickbait headlines. It's about finding good sources, getting different perspective, and really thinking critically about the information we're taking in.
Right, so going deeper than just the surface level, actually understanding all the little details and how this technology could affect us in all these different ways.
You got it. And it's not just about, reading a bunch of articles and calling it a day. Talk to people about this stuff. Share what you're learning with your friends, family, colleagues, whoever. Challenge yourself to see things from different angles. And don't be afraid to have your own opinions challenged too. The more we have these conversations, the better prepared we'll be as a society to deal with this whole new world that's coming.
It's like upgrading our water cooler conversations, right?
Yeah.
Instead of debating the latest viral video, we're talking about the ethics of artificial intelligence.
Exactly. And if you really want to get involved, think about supporting those organizations that are out there working on ethical AI, making sure it's developed responsibly.
How can people do that?
There are tons of ways. You could donate, volunteer, even just share their message with your own networks. Every little bit helps to build that future where AI benefits everyone, not just a select few.
I love that. It's about turning our concerns into action. We can actually use our voices and our choices to make a real difference here because the future of AI isn't set in stone. It's something we're all creating together, right?
Absolutely. And if there's one thing I want listeners to take away from all of this, it's that sense of, empowered curiosity.
Empowered curiosity. I like that. What does that mean exactly?
It means don't be afraid of the big questions. Don't shy away from the what-ifs or the potential problems. Go into this whole AI thing with open minds and a willingness to learn, to adapt, and to really shape the kind of future we want to see.
Beautifully put. And on that note, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought. If AI could solve just one major problem in the world, what problem would you choose? That's something to chew on. Let us know what you think. And until next time, keep those AI conversations going. Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.